This crazy story will blow your mind and you're like, what is happening? But in the end of the film, you will be absolutely surprised. Fasten your seatbelt, guys.
On a mountain road in China, a girl's car breaks down and she has to hitchhike. She lets a truck driver pass by and gets into a car with a decent-looking man. Next to her seat, she notices a human hand. The innocent-looking man is actually a serial killer, and within the next minute he stops the car, grabs a wrench, and beats the girl to death. A few days later, a bus with several passengers travels down the same road. One, an insurance agent, entertains the driver, Tony, with stories about how a woman disappeared at this very spot a few days ago. Meanwhile, the radio announces that a serious accident has occurred at a nearby intersection, closing all roads. The driver suggests bypassing the intersection. No one objects, and soon the bus enters a dark tunnel that Tony has never seen before. Nevertheless, he continues driving. Suddenly, a man appears on the road, forcing the bus to stop, and he gets on. Lee, who is reading a newspaper, sees a wanted poster of the man. Quietly, he takes out a knife for protection. In the bus are two women, an aspiring model, Sarah, and a pregnant woman, Jin, along with a pair of twins, Park and Fang. Fang seems to be autistic, but his sister is always by his side. After 10 minutes of driving, the bus is still in the tunnel, and Tony begins to suspect something is wrong. He knows the longest tunnel in the country is only 11 kilometers long and should take about 10 minutes to cross. So he decides to turn around and head back. But even after 30 minutes of driving at full speed, the exit doesn't appear. Tony stops the bus and everyone gets off to look around. Jin finds her mobile phone, which she accidentally dropped about an hour ago near the entrance. It becomes clear that the tunnel is not normal. Lee tries to calm the passengers. He plans to walk out for help, but he wants to take a long rope for safety. Lee will hold one end of the rope while Yuan holds the other. Fortunately, the pregnant woman has plenty of knitting yarn with her. The mysterious passenger also expresses his desire to join them, and Lee reluctantly agrees. It turns out the man's name is Chie, but he refuses to talk about his job or family. Soon a thick fog starts to form around them, and the passengers see two figures near the bus, but they appear from the other side. It's Lee and Chie. Yuan is still holding one end of the rope, which twitches when Chie pulls the other end. Despite standing next to each other, it turns out that the straight tunnel leads people to the same place, like an endless loop. Lee suggests everyone gather food and divide it. After that, the men set off to explore the tunnel, while the women and Fang stay in the bus. Only 30 minutes have passed, but when the dozing Jin wakes up, she sees that the entire bus is covered in dust. At this time, the men return and find the bus in a half-destroyed state. Tony discovers that all the food has spoiled. It turns out that the tunnel is not only endless, but time here moves differently. 1 hour in the outside world equals about a week inside the tunnel. Near the bus, the men find a map of the tunnel that someone seems to have lost. Lee concludes that someone is playing with them and begins analyzing the map. At this moment, the light suddenly goes out, and when it comes back on, Lee is gone. A bloody trail is visible on the floor, and the group decides to follow it. Chie takes responsibility for leading the group. The trail leads them to a wall that seems hollow. After breaking through it, they come across a strange room filled with photographs of people, a pile of severed hands, and most importantly, an engineering diagram of the place. It shows that there are 6 separate tunnels, each leading to the next. Chie concludes that they need to cross all 6 tunnels. The group searches the room and finds a strange calendar showing one date, July 15th. Beneath it is a wooden door. After they leave, a TV turns on, showing a woman trapped in a cave. The group enters the second tunnel and, oddly enough, finds their bus. But soon, they realize that this place is in a different time zone. The people get on the bus to search for food and find a box of noodles. But suddenly, Tony points a gun he found on the seat at the passengers and demands they hand over the food. The group complies. Soon, everyone starts feeling hungry, and the model Sarah goes to Tony, offering herself in exchange for a pack of noodles. The man agrees, and they leave together. At the same time, one sneaks onto the bus and takes a pack of noodles for himself, but Tony finds out and beats him half to death. Before Tony can finish him off, someone strikes him from behind. The rest of the group is horrified at the sight of the murder. One starts looking for the pack of food he dropped during the fight, and peeking under the bus, finds a hatch. Through it, the group enters another room filled with strange pictures and human body parts. The TV shows footage of a woman drowning in a cave. The group finds the same calendar again, with another door beneath it. They pass through it and reach the third tunnel, which is dampened and dark. The bus is there too, but it is filled with rodents and snakes. A starving Yuan eats the rotten noodles. Feeling sorry for him, Jin gives him a cookie, but Yuan demands the entire pack. When she refuses, he suddenly pulls out a gun and takes all the food. Yuan concludes that they find secret passages when one of them dies and threatens to shoot one of them to move forward. Chie tries to calm him down, but Yuan forces Jin to shoot Chie in the shoulder. After that, he takes the twins into the next room and starts beating them. Park tries to save her brother, and Yuan kills her. He then tries to strangle Sarah, but before he can do so, someone stabs him from behind. After the deaths of 2 more people, the group finds a secret passage that leads them to the 4th tunnel. At this moment, Jin starts having contractions and lies down by the wall. The injured Chie and Sarah go to explore the bus. Sarah starts hallucinating. Frightened, she leaves the bus and walks through the tunnel where she sees many bodies. Picking up a mirror from the ground, she looks into it until someone kills her. Chie returns to Jin, who has given birth to a boy. They move forward, but it turns out that the newborn isn't breathing. Jin takes out a knife and stabs Chi. Suddenly, he wakes up in a laboratory and realizes he has been part of an experiment. In the next scene, we see a secret military meeting where the mystery of the tunnel is revealed. An army general reports that a serial killer named James is found in a coma after a car accident. Before that, he kidnapped and killed several women, but there is speculation that one of them, named Ciara, is still alive. Only no one knows where she is, except for the serial killer himself. But it is impossible to interrogate him because he is in a coma. The military decides to seek help from scientists at the Brain Institute. They need to access James' memory and uncover his subconscious. Yesterday, one of the Institute's best psychotherapists, Chi, finally enters James' consciousness and finds certain clues. It turns out that the missing woman, Ciara, is his wife. Everything that happens takes place inside James's subconscious. Chie manages to find a clue that his wife is hidden near the Xiang River, where heavy rains are currently falling. Chia needs to connect to James's subconscious again to find Ciara's exact location. He learns that both of James's parents died on July 15th. On that fateful day, James's father finds out that his wife is having an affair with a driver. This leads to a big argument between them, and James's mother stabs his father before taking her own life. Inside James's mind, Chie sees not only the dark side, but also the good side of James. The serial killer himself is a tunnel engineer, so when he falls into a coma, he begins building a tunnel in his mind as a symbolic representation of his consciousness. When Chie enters James's mind, his initial goal is to get him out of this endless loop. However, he doesn't expect to find so many personalities in one person. The best of them turns out to be a healthy and rational Li. There is hope that he can guide the others and help James out. Unfortunately, Li disappears after the lights go out in the tunnel. The second personality is Tony, who eventually becomes violent. This represents James's angry personality. The third and fourth personalities are Yuan and Sarah, who are internal projections of his own father and mother. James' father is an insurance agent, and his mother is a model. This is reflected in Sarah's behavior when she offers herself to Tony in exchange for food. The fifth personality is the pregnant Jin, who reminds James of the ideal image of a mother, but even she cannot suppress his dark side. The sixth and seventh personalities are the twins, who resemble his childlike personality, autistic, strange, feminine, but very talented in both mathematics and space physics. But there is one more, the fiercest personality, who isn't on the bus. She secretly kills Li, the driver, Tony, and Yuan. To learn more, Chie needs to conduct another experiment, which he does the next day. This time, he confronts James directly and asks about his wife's location. However, the killer starts talking about how much he hates his mother for killing his father. This is the reason he kidnaps and kills women. James takes Chie to different corners of his subconscious, where various events of his life play out. But Chie ignores all of them and confronts the weakest personality, the autistic Fang. He tries to manipulate the boy into revealing his wife's location, but Fang's twin sister stops him. Suddenly, Chie is transported to a movie theater where he confronts the true evil behind all the murders inside the tunnel, and it turns out to be Chie himself. James's subconscious is so twisted and evil that anyone who enters it starts thinking like a serial killer. Evil Chie reveals that he doesn't want Ciara to be saved, so he kills people inside the tunnel one by one, including the newborn baby. Suddenly, the frightened autistic boy appears on the scene along with Chie's wife, Fang. He immediately approaches Ciara, but retreats at the last moment. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the real Chie approaches the boy, asking him to wake up and tell the authorities where his wife is. Surprisingly, Fang agrees and leaves. Evil Chie takes him to another setting where they prepare for the final showdown. The two begin to fight each other, but just when the real Chie feels like he is winning, another clone of evil Chie appears, implying that he is indestructible. Rain pours down over the river, and Ciara is almost neck-deep in water. Only a few minutes remain before she drowns. Back in James's subconscious, the real Chie begs to return to his world, but his evil double refuses to listen. The real Chie realizes that if he kills himself, evil Chi will die too, and all the evil inside James will disappear. As soon as he executes his plan, evil Chi vanishes, and James wakes up in the hospital as a completely different person. He immediately informs the authorities of Ciara's location, and she is rescued at the very last moment. But Chie doesn't wake up. At the end of the film, we see Chie wandering through an endless tunnel. The image resembles endless nightmares, where a person cannot escape from one nightmare and transitions into another.
That was strange but interesting film, and here's the new one right here. Click it and watch it. You will absolutely love it right here. Not gonna miss it.